Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I'm not gonna say today because I don't know which day are you watching this, so I'm just hoping in general that you are having a great day. Okay, I'm here in LA. Finally the storms has passed. We are back to like our beautiful weather, although it is very cold, so it's like the skies are open, but it's very cold right now. But at least the sun is out. There is no raining. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, we needed the rain in California, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm glad that our drought is not that severe now, at least for now, because it rained like a lot. But also a lot of people lost everything, especially in Northern California, so I'm kind of like glad that it ended, because imagine losing all of your things. And even here in some parts of Los Angeles County, I even have some friends who live like in the mountains and their houses got flooded. So imagine that. Like, I couldn't imagine waking up and all of your things are underwater. Like, can you imagine? Like, I feel so bad for them. So I'm glad that the rain is over. I'm hoping to go back a little bit back to normal, and yeah. So that was just the beginning. I wanted to do, I'm trying to do some other kind of videos for my chat, for this channel. And I was like, let's do like a fun one, okay? And I wanted to share with you guys some of my stories in life. And I want to share because I was just approached, well, not just, but I was approached to be a sugar baby. Girl, I have to tell you, like, the experience itself, I was like, okay, it was so surreal because I have never even think about that. But more than just being a sugar baby, I wanted to share with you the scam that they try to get to you, okay? And of course, it was not a real sugar daddy. Of course, they just want like to scam me. I already knew that, but this time as soon as the guy texts me, I was with my husband, right? And I was like, oh my God, look at this. I think I'm getting a sugar daddy. I was like, what do you mean? And we like start looking at this guy. And I was like, this is not a sugar daddy. This is probably some random guy in Nigeria trying to scam me, right? And I was like, I'm curious to see how far can I take this? So we were like, okay, let's just get into this. I'm just gonna send, I'm gonna start talking to this guy and see what he has to offer me, right? In order to be a sugar baby. So I'm pretty sure you already know, right? But like, sugar daddies are usually older guys who has like a lot of money, and they are constantly looking for people to spoil, or sugar babies, So basically you get like money, like an allowance, and they give you clothes and trips, and like they treat you like everything, like they give you everything, and in exchange, of course, you're gonna have to be doing some like favors, or well, I mean, there has been cases of like older people just looking for companionship. It does exist, but it is not really that common, So, usually, there are some kind of like sexual favors that you have to perform in order to be a sugar baby. Now, when you're young and you're in your 20s, like being a sugar baby, it's kind of like the goal, like, you're always joking with your friends, like, oh my God, I need a sugar daddy. I need a sugar daddy, like, oh my God, like, I wish, I have someone like millionaire to just give me everything, right? And it almost never happens because in order to be, well, actually, yeah, I haven't met anyone who actually, no, yeah, I met like one person that used to have a sugar daddy. But in general, in the community, usually sugar daddies are looking for like very attractive, twinky, kind of guys, like very hairless with that like young looking face. So like from a very young age, I knew that I was not gonna be a sugar baby to anyone. Like I have never seen like an older man being like, oof, I'm looking for a bigger guy, like with a lot of like hair, like that turns me on. It was like, no, that's never gonna happen, right? So like I quit on that thinking like a long, long, long time ago. But when these guys start texting me all these things, I was like, oh my God, and I'm like, they really, I mean, if they do it, is because they're probably found victims that fall for these kind of things, right? So this is for all my gay guys out there who are thinking like, oh, I can have a sugar daddy. Well, be careful, because sugar daddies can be Nigerian daddies looking for money, okay? So anyways, look at this guy. So this is the guy. Okay, I'm going to dox him because, bitch, you are scamming people, okay? So this guy, his handle name is StrongDan2. And he has 2,000 followers, weirdly 0 posts. And he's following like 50 people or something like that. And, the picture, look, is this kind of like, I don't know if you can see, let me see. Okay, it's like an older guy with like hair, and all of that, okay? So, let me see. So this guy comes here, and he says, hello, sweetheart. I would like to be giving you a weekly allowance of $7,000 directly to your PayPal account if you're interested in me as your sugar daddy. I was like, okay, so not even like a hello, how are you? Let's talk first. I mean, mind you that this message was sent to me on my big Instagram from the real Andy of Beverly Hills, okay? So there are a couple of things that I'm already thinking. So, of course, this is a scam. Or is this someone trying to catfish me because they know who I am? Or, I mean, honestly, like, I just think like maybe a 1% of me was thinking that this could be an actual sugar daddy. But I was like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So when I decided to pursue this, my response was like very like, sure, why not? Just that, like, sure, why not? I wanted to see what he will respond. He goes on and says, where are you from? And that's my first thing. Like, so you are texting me from my public figure Instagram, which is the real Andy of Beverly Hills, which means you have to know who I am and where I am from, So I was like, and you don't. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm from Colombia, daddy. He says, wow, baby, you are beautiful, and I will like you to be my sugar baby. I promise you all the good things life had to offer by giving you allowance if you are true and loyal. I was like, okay. And then I was like, so where do you live? And he's like, in the USA. Have you had a sugar daddy before? And I was like, oh my God, no, never. What is that? And he's like, oh, why? You are so damn cute. And I was like, So my first thing, I was like, this guy has no pictures on his Instagram, right? So I was like, oh, thank you. Do you have any more pictures, daddy? The one you have is very small. And he proceeds to send me another picture that I want to show you guys. This picture, okay? So these people usually go to other profiles and they just like steal other people's pictures, right? So I was like, okay. He says, for me, I want a baby I can trust and can trust me. I am ready to spoil him with all the good things life has to offer. I'll be sending you allowances. And then I finally kind of like just end up there that day. I was like, oh, I'm so over this. So after a couple days, he goes on and says, hi. I'm like, hi, daddy. He says, how are you doing today? So I wanted to go I wanted to create this persona of being like very humble, and not having money, and seeing like, oh my God, so you will really be willing to scam someone that doesn't have any money. So you are basically like a Jen Shaw, right? So I was like, I'm a little bored and a little worried. There is a storm happening, and they cut my shifts at the restaurant that I work. So now I have to stay home, and I'm so worried because they cut my hours, and I don't even know if I'm gonna have enough money to pay the rent. I mean, girl. So he goes on and said, and I was like, how are you doing today? This bitch doesn't answer me the whole day, okay? I'm like, okay, you are definitely not doing a good job as a sugar daddy right now. Next day, he's like, oh, I'm good. How's it going? Y yo, and me, sorry, Spanish. And me, I was like, girl, I was like, good. I'm just chilling with no power at my house. And this guy is like, where do you live? Again, if you follow me, if you know who I am, because you clearly has to know, because you are texting me on my, public figure Instagram, you should know that I'm living in Los Angeles by now, right? It's literally there on the bio. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell him where I live in LA. So I was like, sure, I live in Inglewood. Inglewood, I mean, if you don't know, it's kind of like a city of Los Angeles County, but it's very, very, very far from where I live, So I was like, yeah, I live in Inglewood. And then out of nowhere, it's just like, I don't know if they have like the text messages like already there and they just like copy paste. He doesn't respond to me to that, like, oh, I know where that is, or like, where does that is, or like, how's the weather, or like, I have no idea, like I just telling him that there is a storm passing by, that I live very far, that I have no money and I have no power in my house. And he doesn't even acknowledge that, and he goes on and says, no, wait. Ugh, I hate when that happens. Okay, he goes on and says, what you have to do is to be texting me regularly, and then when you receive your allowance, we plan a date, then we hang out, have fun, and other things like that. Are you okay with that? So, bitch, you don't even giving me money to pay my electric bill, and now you are already telling me that I have to go to your place and do things with you? Bitch, where is the allowance? Where is the allowance? Okay, and I'm like, yes, daddy, because I know, like, that's what he wants to hear. He goes on and says, all I want right now is companionship. Be your mentor and having someone to talk to make me smile while I also take good care of your needs and spoil you with a weekly allowance for now until I'm able to figure out and take my time off for us to meet and hang out, then do things together, baby, due to the nature of my job and the kind of man I am. Like, it's the cringiness for me is like I can't, like I even if this was a real sugar daddy, I will be like, girl, like, seriously, girl, come on. Like, do you have to be you have to be very dumb to believe what he's saying, Anyways, I'm going on and I'm like, oh, that sounds so lonely, daddy. I would love to be here for you. What do you do for a living? Guess what? The bitch stopped talking to me for a couple hours. And I'm like, Bitch, I am doing everything. I mean, you want companionship. I'm giving you companionship. Where are my $7,000? Anyways, he goes on and respond hours later. He says, I am a consultant for strategic management. I live alone. I have a good sense of humor. I am kind and very tender-hearted person. I am loving. I sometimes think that I love too deeply when I love someone. Girl, it's like he's giving me a whole speech that I am not asking for. Literally, I'm just asking you, what do you do for a living? I'm not asking you if you are a sensitive soul or like if you have a tender heart or wherever. It's like, girl, like I'm telling you, I'm thinking that they must have all these answers, and or all of these texts, and and be just like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So, anyways, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. You must have such an interesting life. He goes on and says, thank you. So finally, after days of talking, he goes on and says, tell me more about yourself. So this is where I am going in, bitch. This is where I'm telling him, I am broke. I have no money. So if you are trying to scam me, it's not going to work out, right? He goes on and says, well, I work in a restaurant, I am single, which again, if you are following me, you will know that that's a lie. So I'm working in a restaurant. I'm single. I'm living by myself in a small bedroom in Inglewood. Okay. My dream is to be an actor. So I try to go to auditions all the time. That's why I moved to LA right now. Just hustling, He goes on and says, oh, okay, nice. I have had many sugar babies too that appreciate my service and give positive feedback after receiving their allowance. Well, I have had many sugar babies that run away with my money. Money is not my problem. I just need someone trustworthy and loyal. Bitch, if you want something trustworthy and loyal, you will not be texting random people offering $7,000. Like, bitch, of course, I mean, no, I can't. I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm speechless. I'm speechless at this point. I'm like, well, trust and loyalty are earned for sure, but you will always have mine because I like you. I'm such a hoe. I am such a hoe. Then this person says, promise me you won't go out there looking for another sugar daddy. I promise to give you what life has to offer you. If you promise to be honest with me. What about you are honest with me? What about you being honest with me? What about you being honest to yourself, bitch? Anyways, and so I respond and I says, oh, believe me, I won't be looking for anyone else. And then I was like, so what do you like in men physically? Because I'm like, girl, have you watched my pictures? So he goes on and says, I just love cute personalities. I'm the type of person that likes to keep things private. I'll be happy if nobody knows about this relationship until you get your first allowance. Bitch. Bitch. So you are texting to me and you think that I'm going to keep it private after your scam? No. I'm like, sure. Don't worry. Shh. Total privacy here. He goes on and says, we plan a date to meet up, maybe after the first allowance. Trust me, with no fear, and I like to trust with no fear. I only use PayPal. I'm like, what? First of all, what? Like, I mean, if I were gonna meet someone that I don't know who is sending me $7,000, without even knowing my name, I will be like, no. I mean, I will have to go to like a very public space. I will have a couple friends on another table, randomly like looking at me, and probably 911 on speed dial. Okay. I goes and said, "Ooh, I love that, daddy. Do you live here?" And then he goes on and says, "Well, you seem different from others, and I like you to receive your allowance and now and get approved as my sugar baby so we can start our relationship properly." I'm like, bitch, I am applying for a loan, I'm buying a house. Like, do I need pre-approval? I haven't received like a letter from Capital One on my mail. Like, what is this? What do you mean that I need to be approved to be your sugar baby? I'm like, this is where the scam is gonna start. He goes on and says, I goes and said, "Sure, what do you need from me, daddy?" He goes on, "But before you could receive your allowance in your account, there are terms to follow." Okay, 50 Shades of Grey. And what are they? I'll fund you $6,000 to your PayPal account for the start. Bitch, I thought it was 7,000. You are already like taking money from me without even sending me the money. But before the transaction can be complete, listen to this, you will have to be on my payroll, and immediately after you receive your allowance, we will start our relationship properly because I trust you now, and please don't hurt me due to past experiences. I'm at that point, I'm thinking, girl, this guy's gonna ask me for my social security number. He's gonna ask me for my address, my phone, my mom's last name. I don't know, the first dog that I have when I was living in another country, like some bullshit, like who was your high school teacher? That kind of questions. So I'm like, okay, yeah, don't worry, daddy. I don't know how any of this works. I have never done this before. He goes on, "Send me your PayPal link." And then he sends like a little devil emoji. I'm like, is this supposed to be sexy? Like, okay. And he goes on and says, "I am trusting you." And I go, "And I trust you, daddy. Where do I find that link?" And he goes on, "Go to your PayPal settings or profile, you file your PayPal link, blah, blah, blah." So I found my PayPal, which is paypal.me/realandybh, just in case someone wants to send me money. I'm just kidding. Or not. And then, he goes on and says, "Oh, okay, wait. Do you use Telegram? We can talk better on there." I'm like, what the fuck is Telegram? I'm like, no, I don't. He goes on, "Oh, you can download it and hit me up if you don't." I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not downloading any shit. I'm just playing with this guy. So I'm like, sure, maybe I'll do that later. And then he goes on and says, "Is this you?" So which means that he actually looked me up on PayPal. Okay. And he sent a screenshot and I'm like, "Oh, yes, that's me." He sent me, this MF sent me a screenshot of him trying to send the $6,000. Let me see if I can show you this. The $6,000, guys. Look at this, And it says, "Paying for an item or service, get a full refund if an eligible item get lost, damaged, blah, blah, blah." And then look what so randomly PayPal. I mean, I have been using PayPal for years and never seen this before, but now, they are sending this, right? It says, "Transaction pending. The recipient should generate a reference number with a Bitcoin voucher to authorize payment before the funds will be released. The Bitcoin value is $300. I'm like, here we are. Here we are. This is where people with, I don't know. I don't know if it's no education or like people who, get scammed very easily will, get scammed. So he wants me to buy a voucher for $300. Okay. He says like, I am now on PayPal. You'll have to get a Bitcoin voucher to complete the transaction for you immediately, babe. I'm like, oh, daddy, how do I do that? Like, I don't know. He goes on and says, what you have to do is to get a Bitcoin voucher to complete the transaction for you right now. You can see that the transaction is pending already and it says Bitcoin value is just $300. So I continue by telling him, oh, daddy, I have to wait. I have no money with me. I don't even have money to pay my rent. I don't have $300 with me. What should I do? This bitch stopped talking to me. Okay. Then a couple hours later, he goes on and replies, well, that's up to you. If you want the money, that's what you have to do. I goes on and says, I do want and I need the money, but I don't have any money, daddy. I goes on and says like, can you lend me the $300 and then I'll give it back to you or something because I don't have this money. He goes on and says, I cannot help you. If you don't trust me, then there is no way this relationship is going to work. And goes on and says like, it's not about trust. I literally don't have the money. And he goes on and says, well, fuck you. And blocks me. Excuse me? Excuse me, sir. Okay. So he goes, thank God. Because since I started, playing with this guy, I knew that I wanted to do this video to show it to you guys. And maybe you can, send this to other people so they don't get scammed, right? I knew I wanted to do this. So I was taking screenshots of everything before this guy blocked me. So this is how they get you, okay? I mean, look, and this one is someone that is very bad at its job because, girl, like the way that he was talking to me, I mean, I will have to be very desperate to do something like this, But there are very good scammers out there that they will take your money from you, okay? First, that's the first thing, okay? So do not believe anyone. Never send money to people that you don't know. Never, okay? Never. No matter if they're promising you the sun and the stars. Don't do it, okay? And second of all, if you are out there looking for sugar daddies, you need to be looking inside yourself because it means that you don't value yourself, okay? Like, girl, go out, find a job. I know it's annoying. I know it's horrible. Believe me, the thing that I have had to do in this life has not been easy, sometimes, but it's what you have to do. Okay. Do not put a price on you or your body. Okay. You go first. So these sugar daddies, even the real ones, the real sugar daddies, okay, they are there just to abuse you and denigrate you, right? And they will do with you whatever you want just because they can pay for it, So you are allowing these men to be this kind of people or women, because believe me, there are sugar mamas out there as well. Okay. So don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. On the long run, it's not worth it. And many times these sugar daddies, are a face for sex trafficking, for, drugs and prostitution and all of that. So girl, be careful out there. Okay. So that's my story. That's my sugar daddy story. I will never gonna have a sugar daddy. I'm gonna have to keep working for the rest of my life. Anyways, Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. So now you know, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So let me know what you guys think on the comments below. I'm very curious. And yes, share this video with everyone. So let me know. And like always, don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you around. See ya. Bye.